درود فراوان به شما عزیزان. به یکی دیگر از برنامه‌های ندای درون خوش آمدید. من دکتر فوژان زینی هستم، روانشناس، و همونطور که می‌دونید این برنامه است مال شما و راجع به مسائلی که برای شما و در زندگی شما مطرح هست، مخصوصا زمانهایی که با هنرمندانی گفتگویی دارم که میدونم شما دوستشون دارین. امروز خیلی خوشحالم که شینی، که فکر کنم همه شما اون رو به اسم فقط شینی، نه تمام اسم کاملش نمیشناسین، در نتیجه فقط اسم کوچیکش رو برای شما میگیم که میشناسین و اکثرتون اون رو به عنوان خانم اندی میشناسین. ولی امروز قراره با شینی صحبت کنیم به عنوان خودش و سعی بکنیم که شما خود شینی و کار شینی و حتی وجود اون رو دریابید، رو بشناسید. البته قاعدتاً این برنامه بیشترش به انگلیسی خواهد بود، ولی مطمئنم با لهجه کیوت و خوشگلش برای یه مقدار فارسی هم برای ما صحبت کنه، چون آهنگ‌هایی هم خونده که به زبان فارسی هست. Welcome to my show.
Merci, doctor. خیلی ممنون. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I've seen you in different shows and in different gatherings, and you're always so not only brilliant and sweet and radiant.
Merci.
Especially beside Andy. I mean, I
you.
love him. He's such a love. He's like a bundle of love.
Teddy bear.
He's just like, you talk to him and this radiance of love comes out of him. It's like you sit beside him and you can't be mean or cruel. Like my experience with him was just, you can't. It's just not a possibility, because he's just radiant.
Right.
And what a great match, because you are very much similar in that essence and feeling.
Thank you so much. Well, we do connect on certain things, like trying to find the best in people and things, and this is his most obvious quality. Besides being a singer, I think more people comment on Andy's character to me before, as if I don't know, but I always think it's cute when they say, do you know how amazing he is? No, thank you for sharing. No,
How did you meet him?
I met Andy many years ago. When I first came to Los Angeles, my family moved into an apartment building which was in the San Fernando Valley, not far from where we are now, and Sharam Shapare was living there, and Jamile, the dancer.
Yeah, I remember the apartment building.
You know which one I'm speaking of?
I used to come to Sharam's house and saw Jamile.
Okay, it was quite famous building, and all of the upcoming musicians as well as the famous stars would come and go. So I originally met Andy there. And of course I didn't have the references of who's who at that time, and he was with Kuros. And then little by little, the days of Cabaret Tehran were happening, and we began to see each other there on a more artistic level. And we stayed in touch as friends for many years. And then later, when he went solo, he approached me and said, would you like to come and work with me? And I said, sure. So that process went on for a while before we kind of moved into personal relationship.
Great. Now, you're not only a singer, but you're a producer and a composer.
Yes.
Now, reading about you, I was excited because I love Obama. So I was excited to know that you actually produced his inauguration show. So say more about that.
That was in 2008, and it was, if you remember, it was just an electric time in America, actually all over the world. I think the whole world was very proud to see what was happening in America. It was historical. And at that point, I just wanted to be in Washington, D.C., but this inaugural, it was called the Inaugural Purple Ball, was planned, and I was asked to come and produce the show, the entertainment show. So we had artists like Il Divo, the famous Italian quartet. We had Il Divo. Handsome group. It was not a tough job for me. No, Il Divo was there. There were a few other artists that were there. It was a glorious big banquet. Everything was sort of this royal shade of purple, representing red states and blue states. That was the concept. So it was for everyone. And it was a magical experience. I'll never ever forget it. Being in the city and walking through the city, and just thousands of people everywhere, and watching his speech and all of those things. So yeah, it was a big, big memory for me.
So tell me a little bit about how you got interested in music and singing and composing. Coming from Arkansas,
Coming from Arkansas, right, I'm a little Southern girl. You know, my family had a wonderful record collection as a child, and we had everything from Elvis Presley to, you know, Motown records and everything in between, and whatever was contemporary at the time. Obviously, I wasn't exposed to Middle Eastern music yet, for obvious reasons, where I lived, but my father played the drums, and we just had a very sort of musical household. And I sang from the time I was probably 3 years old. I sang, and I knew even then that that's what I would do for the rest of my life. I was also the kid that would organize little shows in my garage and go around to the neighborhood and knock doors and say, there's going to be a show today at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Would
That's
you like?
where you knew you were an amazing producer.
I was a producer at this age, and forcing people to pay a quarter to come and see my show, and then I would force my little friends to do things, and I would sing. You know, that's the kid I was. So my parents knew, oh, look what we have on our hands.
It's so natural.
It's what I did.
Yeah.
So I guess you come out that way sometimes.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah. Like it's amazing when parents just kind of like leave their children to be. Their natural essence of what they're supposed to be in the world kind of like shows up. Like I remember when I was a kid, all I wanted to know was how people were doing. So I would go sit beside them, listen to them, like even as a 3 or 4 year old, and I would observe them. And then if somebody was sick, without knowing why, I would just go hold their hand. And they're like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't know. I'm just supposed to hold her hand. She's going to be much better.
So nice.
I know. So
you were
it was
a
like,
caregiver.
I was a caregiver. So it's like naturally, it didn't matter where I went to corporate America. You know, I had flower business. I had different things. But it's just like it all came back to what I really love the most, which is taking care of people. In that way.
Yes.
So it's interesting when you go back and look at your life, you know what you naturally, you're
gravitate.
there.
And I think it's beautiful that your family supports, you know, when you do see those qualities in kids. And of course, you know, my parents always inspired me to be educated and all of those things, but they nurtured, they didn't distract me or deter me from those, I guess, those gifts or those qualities that come instinctively. They nurtured those things for me. So I would definitely not be here without the support of my family, literally.
What got you interested in different languages? Because you sang in different languages. You sang in Persian, obviously, English and Spanish.
Armenian. Arabic. Honestly, coming to Los Angeles, first and foremost.
Like twice.
Right? Because, again, going back to my background, I wasn't exposed on a one-on-one basis like this. I came to Los Angeles, and I mean, immediately was culture shock in a good way for me. But, I mean, there was every ethnicity imaginable represented in one place. And, of course, for me, the Middle Eastern community was like my new family. I knew no one. So, you know, the names I mentioned to you that were my early days here in LA are like family to me. To this day, we all see each other and we all know where we came from. Even, you know, for those that came recently to Los Angeles from Iran, we all know how we started and how we came up together. So, but originally it was just kind of more of experimental, you know. I remember Shahram and of course Andy and, you know, Shahbal from Black Cats. I mean, everybody would kind of say, Shani, try this, you know, try to just in the beginning, just get your feet wet a little bit, sing this in Farsi, and I would try, and next thing I knew, I was singing solo. I would sing, you know, various artists' songs because I didn't have my own yet, and it became fun for me, and I guess I developed maybe a little taste for it, and I got a little bit more brave to record in Spanish, and then people began to ask me to record for other things, for films and
so you have a very angelic voice.
Oh, thank you.
You do. It just really like resonates.
Thank you.
So actually, I want to hear one of your videos.
Thank you.
So let's go together and watch a video from Shani, and we'll be right back.
This feeling makes me wonder. skies are shaking thunder. My eyes are blurring, bodies turning back to you. See, I've got no pride now, baby, no shame to lose. The clock's ticking, grooves kicking so smooth. So it's time to move. Come on, my heart is thumping, bass is pumping. I'm so crazy, like every day and every way infatuation. See rivers parting, mountains moving, stars align. You got me out of my mind. Somebody better catch me. I'm burning at the speed of light, a falling star. No matter how the road seems, this car I'm driving, swerving like a serving car. See, I've got no pride now, baby, no shame to lose. The clock's ticking, grooves kicking so smooth. So it's time to move. Come on, my heart is thumping, bass is pumping. I'm so crazy, like every day and every way infatuation. See rivers parting, mountains moving, stars align. You got me out of my mind. No sleep all night, so deep, you make it just right. I know, maybe you don't like gravity, no letting go. I've got no pride now, baby, no shame to lose. The clock's ticking, grooves kicking so smooth. So it's time to move. Come on, my heart is thumping, bass is pumping. I'm so crazy, like every day and every way infatuation. See rivers parting, mountains moving, stars align. You got me out of my mind. You got to know I want you so, you make me crazy, like every day and every way infatuation. See rivers parting, mountains moving, stars align. You got me out of my mind. Out of my mind. Out of my mind.
Okay. I know that you have sang in different languages, and I have a question.
Yes.
I always wondered, when you are going to sing in another language, do you have to first know the meaning of every word in the song, and then you translate it into the segments where you actually do the wordings with the accent that it's supposed to be, or is there any other way that you do it?
I'm sure everyone has their different approach when they're singing in another language. For me, yes, of course, I must know the meaning, because I can't be singing, dochtar and looking at a guy, right? I have to be clear on some of the key words
to feel it.
And to feel it,
to feel the lyrics.
Because you don't. I need to know that I'm singing a very sad. I might be singing. I'm in a song that I have called Bad Man. It's a very sad song, and it talks about being in a cage and I can't breathe and all of these things. So I can't be like this singing that song. You have to know the mood. You have to know. There are times when also with lyrics, especially in Persian, it's very, very poetic. And as you know, it's extremely poetic. And I don't remember word for word. Of course, I've learned the lyrics and I know the meaning. I've been shown the meaning. But word for word, I might lose certain things throughout the process. but I know the overall concept of what I'm saying and key important lines. Also, my little trick or my shortcoming, I would admit, is it's very hard for me to jump in the middle of a line. I learn it almost the way a child learns a nursery rhyme. You know, if you learn a nursery rhyme and it starts and you go all the way through. So I know, you know, for example, if I say, "Dukhtar pesara hami ashiqa," you know, I have to say it from the beginning, and it becomes like a long phrase for me. It's a melodic process, like a poem. That's how I do it.
Partly that's the way that you present it. How do you feel when you sing, for example, a Persian song rather than an Arabic song, rather than a Spanish, rather than English, which is your own language, and you experience every word? How does it feel to you, or the difference of the feeling, let's say, when you're singing another language where you're not, this is really not your language? You might understand some parts of it, some words of it, but not the whole thing. How does it resonate with you?
It's difficult because I think two things can happen. One, if you overthink it because you're worried about the accent, which of course I always am.
Everybody is when they're singing another
Right,
language.
and I know people are complimented when you sing in their language. They're complimented, they think it's nice or cute or whatever. But at the same time, I don't want people to laugh and say, you know, she said this and it's that. So I'm trying to do it properly. But I also think if you overthink it, you're not in the moment. You're not really singing the song. And your feeling is lost. And I believe, even as a singer, it's okay to go out of tune sometimes. It's okay to have an accent as long as you're connected to what you're delivering, because people feel it in their heart before anything. You know, you can hear something and you go, doesn't resonate with me, because you can almost feel the person's not really committed or connected to what they're singing, you know.
And are you connecting more to the music itself?
Yes.
Okay, so you're connecting to the melody of the music, and then the idea of the song by itself.
Yes, my good friend Paxi Mazakipur, the lyricist, would want to slap me, but she knows, because I'm a lyricist too, she knows what I'm saying, because, you know, the song would not be a song without the melody.
Right.
Otherwise it would be poetry and it would just be the lyrics. So when you're delivering the song, I mean, the melody and the feeling has to come first in order to find the way to deliver the message, which is the lyrics. So you have to go into that zone. If it's a happy zone, you know, you need to be in that mode. If it's a serious song or, you know, sad, you need to find that place. So I try not to overthink it with my accent.
And does the duet that you sing with Andy and in Persian?
Yes.
Now, we're adding complexity here.
Okay.
So, right? Because obviously, if it's just you singing and getting connected to the song, and then having that part which you said, I know from the beginning to the end, I already know the lyrics and I know which segment I'm going. And then I get it that as a duet, sometimes you guys are entering each other's space and singing together, and then solo. How does that experience for you?
The funny thing is, I'm sure I have my own accent in Farsi, which people listen to, but I bet if you paid attention,
Andy also has it.
I probably have Andy's accent
in Persian,
right?
Yeah.
So if I'm on my own, maybe I go one way, but when I'm singing with him, I'm mirroring what he does, especially when we're singing together, because when we're in a concert, when we're doing private functions, we're singing a lot together. So I'm sure I have his accent completely when we're singing together, because I'm mirroring what he's doing.
What he's doing. So let's go back and listen to another video from Shani in Persian, actually. So now you get to
hear that accent.
See what she was talking about. You got the background experience behind the scenes. Now we're going to take you to the seats. We'll be right back.
عشق من برگرد به من به آغوشم که بی تو من یه عمر خاموشم بی تو بی تردید چشم از دنیا میپوشم نه از مرگ هرگز نمیترسم ترس من از زندگی بی توست ای نفس در این قفس برس به دادم که بشکنه سکوت فریادم ای عشق بمون گرچه با تو اسیرم آزادم با تو از عشق مردن چه آسونه بی تو تنها دنیای زندونه با تو شدم حتی تو کنج خونه چشم من با من مدارا کن با گریه اشکم دریا کن عشق من برگرد به من برس به دادم که تو ابد نمیری از یادم چرا مثل اشکی از چشم تو افتادم با تو از عشق مردن چه آسونه بی تو تنها دنیای زندونه با تو شدم حتی تو کنج خونه با تو از عشق مردن چه آسونه بی تو تنها دنیای زندونه با تو شدم حتی تو کنج خونه
Love that song. Goosebumps. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, goosebumps.
Merci. Thank you.
Talk about goosebumps. I want to talk about all the things you do for contribution
Okay.
and all around,
Okay.
right? I know that you are going to have a song out, a peace song, which
Yes.
you've worked, and it was. I knew it was somehow attached to Dalai Lama, so I'm just going to
Yeah.
let you explain it instead
Okay.
of me ruining it.
No,
So
no,
go ahead.
no. Thank you. Yes, the song is called We Hear Your Voice. And I should have a cheat sheet in front of me because there are so many people around the world that have participated on this song. Major stars. Of course, Andy is representing. And we have stars from Russia, from India, from Latin America, from Korea, Israel. See, I'm forgetting, but there's so many. And the concept was to do something that was a humanitarian message, where again, me being an American and learning how connected I feel with the Iranian community and the Armenian community and the Arab community, how I've been embraced just by exposure, just because I was exposed and they were exposed to me and we connected. I tour all over the world, and I see that there are great artists from all of these different regions that sometimes we don't know about. And I've been very fortunate to work with many of them on different levels. And I thought, why are we not all working together? Why can we not expose each other's music and culture to other cultures? It seems so simple, you know?
Is that, so you produced that song?
I did. I wrote the song and I produced it. The real inspiration, I will tell you though, was during the time, if you remember, in Iran, where there was an election process,
Yes.
and
the
the Green Movement period. I was really inspired when I would see the kids communicating on Facebook that wanted to learn more about each other. And I thought the power of this communication and wondering if they were heard. So the concept of "we hear your voice" is what came to me. And then I thought, what if we take that idea of voice and get some of the greatest voices in the world to sing, saying, giving back to the people, we hear your voice. We want to connect people. So that was the concept. And of course, we decided to donate all of the proceeds to, from the song's downloads, to children's charities. So this would be about inspiring the new generation. And if this is what we can do as artists, on behalf of all the artists, I know this was very important to all of them. Some of them come from war-torn countries, Afghanistan, and Liel, our Israeli artist, grew up, you know, had to be in the military in Israel, lived on the border, and saw death and destruction. And so, you know, everybody had their own perspective to bring. And,
right. And it's amazing where how music brings a level of healing to trauma, where
Magical.
almost a lot of people, especially in the Middle East, have experienced one way or another of trauma, and how the sort of the music, the togetherness of the artists who come together, and the lyrics and the production of the melody creates some sort of a bond and a healing,
Yes.
knowing that we're not alone, that no matter what the trauma is, no matter what the country is, no matter what the situation is,
Yes.
that somehow we're together, and that togetherness is almost like being human and, you know, moving us forward.
Absolutely. In fact, you said you're not, that's the key line, "we hear your voice," is the first line of the chorus, and "you're not alone." Those are the two, and everyone says those words in their own language throughout the song. So, you know, that is the message, it really is.
So it will be released tonight, and we will promise you that we will have it on our show, and so for your audience to really hear it and experience it. But also beside that, I know that you're very active in a lot of different kinds of charity. One, you have been a survivor of an ovarian cancer,
Yes.
so you brought what you went through and the fear and the agony and all of that,
Yes.
and came through, and now you're giving back.
Yes.
So say a little bit about the ways that you constantly are contributing to the world in different ways.
I try, whenever I'm asked to show up for an event that has to do with, you know, cancer awareness or women's health issues and all those things, as often as I'm able to do, I try to show up. You know, when I went through my crisis, it was at a time when people weren't really expressing, you know, we didn't have shows like this, and they weren't really expressing their internal conflicts and their struggles. People kept a lot of those things inside, which is actually more destructive to your health,
Yes.
as you know. I didn't have an outlet to really speak about it, and I'm so grateful that I've seen, you know, a large change from my experience now to where people have support groups and are encouraged to speak about it. And the second wave of that is, if you are a survivor and you've been through it, that you would share your story to help other people realize that there's hope for them, and there's life after this experience. So, of course, I'm beyond blessed to be able to still be here after going through what I did go through. And that's another reason why I feel so compelled to do things with my life, because I feel like, you know, the power allowed me to stay here for
Yes.
some reason, and I can't abuse my time here. So
And not only not to abuse, but I think some people can just not abuse, but be neutral and not necessarily contribute in the particular
Right.
way. And I love it that you've taken the venue that you can contribute and kind of attached it also to the natural essence of you, which is the composer, the
Yes.
producer, as
Right.
a couple, 5-year-old producer,
Little girl.
and the singer, and you combine all of that,
Right.
with the love and generosity, and kind of bring all of that and share it with the world, so that the world also experiences you and receives something that touches their heart.
Right.
And
Nice.
I think that's where the beauty is, where we can utilize what we have as any type of venue in the concept of making a difference in somebody's life.
Yes. I think going back to what we were speaking about before, everyone has their place, everyone has their voice, and everyone can do what they can. I don't want it to seem like I'm this isolated person that, oh, well, because I'm a singer or a writer or whatever, producer, I do this because this is what I do. But everyone has their place, and
Yes.
everyone can do things to help another individual. And as you said, even if it's just listening, sometimes it's just listening and giving in ways to your neighbor in a way that you can help them. And you get so much out of that. It's a very selfish thing, actually. To be selfless is actually a very selfish payoff, because the feeling you get is so amazing.
It is. It is. The feeling of contribution is amazing. Now, for the future.
Yes.
So we got the song for the piece coming out tonight. And then I know that you're also premiering a movie for tonight.
Yes.
Sheeran in Love.
Sheeran in Love.
Yes.
Yes. So it's a beautiful film. It's a very sweet movie. Rami Niami is the director. And many good friends of ours are in the movie. Nazanin Boniadi, of course, and
Maz Jobrani.
Maz Jobrani.
He's amazing.
He's
I love him.
hysterical. We love him. And there are many people in Marshall Manish and many people. So I encourage everyone to go and see it and support their Iranian filmmakers, because we all, Andy and I, love to support not only our friends but up and coming filmmakers. And it's very important to remember that we can't do what we do without the support of the public. That's what allows us to keep doing it. So we might have this need to express and do art, but if it's not supported by the community, we can't keep doing it. So it's a marriage, really. And we're excited to go to the premiere.
Great. Anything other than these two?
I have a film coming out later in the year called Guardian Angel, which also a combination of Iranian and American artists. And it's actually a very dark kind of action crime drama, with a lot of great stars in it. I play a detective, and which is very different for me, to be with a gun and all of that stuff. And a lot of fun. And
so you're really shifting into acting now. So you got singer, composer, producer, and acting now.
Yes, I'm also on the producing team of that film too, but it was important to do something as an actor in that as well. I've been doing that my whole life as well, but and I've done movies here and there throughout the years, but I think being a touring artist, you kind of have to choose.
Yes.
So I've lost a lot of opportunities as an actor because of my touring schedule, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to tour too. So I'm picking and choosing as best as I can.
Are you also composing the music for Guardian Angel?
Yes.
And you're singing?
We have the theme song. Yes, we have the theme song of the movie. Andy and I composed it, and it's a beautiful song. It's very nice. So that will be coming out later this year.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing all of it.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. This
for
has been
giving me
so
the
fun.
opportunity. It's amazing to have you here.
Thank
It's
you.
great to get to know you in a whole different way.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it, and I told you in the break, this has been one of the best interviews ever. So I've really been happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. خیلی ممنون از اینی که با ما بودید عزیزان. انشالله که میدونم نوروز در کنار ماست و عید خیلی خیلی خوبی داشته باشید. شینی برامون عید نوروز هم تبریک گفته که روز نوروز در کنارتون خواهیم بود. روز نوروز پنجشنبه 20 مارس برنامه ما اینجا خواهد بود. در نتیجه خیلی خوشحال میشیم که شما عزیزان رو با هم ببینیم. تا یکی دیگر از برنامه‌های ندای درون، روز و شبتون.
سر کوچه ها برو بیا، همسایه ها گوشه ها کنار ببر و بیار، بزن برقص بی اختیار. شبای تهرون تو باغ شمرون، از مجیدیه تا نیاورون، برقص به زیر بارون، روی پشت بوم توی خیابون. عزیزم پاشو با من برقص، گل من پاشو با من برقص، نگونم پاشو با من برقص، یه وقت رقصه. عزیزم پاشو با من برقص، گل من پاشو با من برقص، جون من پاشو برقص، همیشه وقت رقصه.
No standing when you hear the beat, your hips flow, your body follows, let's sway. DJ, no standing, now everybody should be dancing like no tomorrow. We stay. DJ.
تو لس آنجلس دم سینما 7-11 سن مونیکا، این سر دنیا اون سر دنیا، استرالیا یا تو اروپا. موزیک باحال پر عشق و حال، بزن بگو شاد و بخیال، بیا تو شادیا تا دم سحر تو پارتیا. عزیزم پاشو با من برقص، گل من پاشو با من برقص، نگونم پاشو با من برقص، یه وقت رقصه. عزیزم پاشو با من برقص، گل من پاشو با من برقص، جون من پاشو برقص، همیشه وقت رقصه.